all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in your feelings. I been all in them trenches. I been all in my bag. You be all in my business. No, they notice me flexing. Fit in all in my fitness.
Hello everybody, this is Nitesh. Welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about networking and its importance to entrepreneurs. One of the biggest difficulties that entrepreneurs face is not having the right connections that they can leverage to have an advantage over their business. And usually there are interesting people, there are people in the community, there are people in the city you live in that can always help you out with some of your business requirements. And not just business, having the right connections can help you improve yourself personally, improve your skills as well. Of course, saying that is very easy, but getting it done is the difficult part. There's no doubt an entrepreneur has to be always be surrounded by the right people, the people that can actually help him improve his business. And those people not necessarily have to be within the team. Of course, it's important to have a good team in your company to help you move forward. But there are people outside of your business environment that can actually help you a lot as well. And that's where networking is going to help you. Networking can be difficult. Sometimes you get nervous when you're attending events. You don't know what to say. Sometimes you say too much. Sometimes you're just embarrassed about what people think of you, the way you're dressed and stuff like that. So it's not easy. I understand that, and I've been there. But one of the most important things that we have to understand is that it's networking that allows us to connect with the right people. It could probably be potential customers, it could be suppliers, it could be investors. So it's important to be out there every day in the market, connecting with the right people. And besides, in the beginning, your company doesn't really have a brand. So the only brand that you have is you as the entrepreneur. You're the guy, you're the person who spreads the word about your company, spreads your brand's message. So if you're not out there speaking confidently with people that matter, it's going to cause you a lot of damage. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 networking tips that can help you be a pro in a networking environment such as events and make an impact. All right, so let's get on with it. Tip number 1, offer value to others. It's very important that when you're at events, you're not just seeking or asking for help. You're actually offering help. People want to remember you because they feel that you can be useful to them in the future. So when you're out there at events, make sure that you are listening to people, understanding what their needs are, and in one way or the other, trying your level best to understand where can you contribute to their success. The more helpful and offering you are to others, the more they're going to remember you. So that would be the first tip that I like to give you is make sure that when you're out there and when you're talking to people, when you're listening to who they are, what they do, try to think of ways where you can offer them help. And help can be in any way. It could be a free service that you can provide from your company because your company can cater to that, for example. So do participate in community service, offer your services, offer your products for free, give them a demo. People love that. And apart from that, personally, whatever you're good at, always offer to help others with that as well. Just take care of one thing. When you're offering others help, when you're offering them your services or products, do not overpromise. You don't want to promise them something that you cannot deliver. That will have a negative effect and people will try to forget you, get rid of your contact as much as possible. So make sure you offer them something that you can actually deliver. Right, so tip number 2, prepare yourself before you go out there to meet somebody or to meet in an event or when you attend a conference. Prepare as much as you can. Find out whatever you can about the event. What is the focus area of the event? Who's coming? Who are the speakers? Who are the people who are going to be attending? Find out if any of your connections that you've met before are going to be there as well, because that's the person you want to go to get comfortable at the event. You want to talk to people you probably know from before because that helps you raise your confidence, and then you go out there and start conversating with strangers as well. As much as you can prepare is better. I'd also say, make sure that you're well read, that you have enough knowledge about the topic areas of the event, you have enough knowledge about the people, and of course you have enough information about what they do, because then you can contribute. Just to give you an example, I attended a conference that focused on artificial intelligence. So I did my homework. I read as much as I could before I went in, just to make sure I don't sound like an idiot when I'm there at the event, and I could actually get into a conversation with somebody who's an expert. Tip number 3, don't be a salesman. What I'm basically trying to say is don't go out there and start selling your products and services. People are going to get rid of you in the first 10 seconds if they feel that you're pitching them all the time. If you want to get into a conversation with a person, you want to talk about him. You want to talk about not what he does. Obviously, you're not going to be interested in finding out what he does. That's not the first thing that you want to ask him when you meet him. The first thing you want to know is, what is he passionate about? What are the things that he cares about? You want to get into a real conversation. And if it gets you out of the zone of talking business, it's okay. You don't have to talk business all the time. Some of the people I meet, I get in touch with them again and again, not just because they're helpful in my business, but they're just good friends now, and we have a good time and we go for a coffee. I met somebody at a conference, and I go for movies with the person because we realize that we have similar interests when it comes to watching movies. So we go for movies together and we discuss movies. So it's not always business. So be aware of that and make sure that when you're going to a conference or when you're going to any networking event, you're not going there with just one mission, and that is to get customers, or that is to sell your products and services. In fact, that should be the last thing on your list. If it happens, and that's great. But that's not the focus area. That's not what you want to be thinking about when you're looking at people. You don't want people to see you drooling, looking at them as if they're your future customers. So do not think of people as customers. Go out there and build real relationships that last forever. Think about your best friend. Think about the people you know from school and college. Why do you still remember them? Do you ever try selling to them? Of course, when the time comes, you do ask them for references and stuff like that because you're comfortable. That's the kind of relationship you want to build with strangers when you're at events. So that's the focus. Right, tip number 4, listen as much as you can. Don't be the one who talks all the time. You should be the guy who listens to others. People love it when you actually pay attention to what they have to say. So don't be the guy who's always talking and talking and talking, and when it's somebody else's turn to say something, you're like, okay, I'm done, I'm gonna go back and or meet someone else. Yes, you want to be the guy who listens to others. Now, that's not all. Listening is not going to help. You have to be an active listener, not a passive listener. You don't want to be a guy who listens to others and then, thank you very much, nice meeting you, see you again. That's not where it ends. You want to contribute, you want to comment on what they're saying so that people realize you were actually listening. So you want to reply back to whatever they said with your comments and your opinions on it. So be an active listener. I would say listen 60% of the time, or even 70% of the time, and 30% is when you talk. And that 30% is something that you've thought carefully because you've been listening and you've been, processing all of that information. Whatever you say after all of that process is going to be much better than if you're always talking. Right, and my final tip, number 5, follow up. You met them. The reason why you have their business card in your pocket 3 days after the event, the reason why now they're connected to you is because you felt something. You felt that there was synergy. Make sure you make use of that. The only way that's possible is if you're actually following up with the people you met. So in fact, that's the first thing I would do after coming back from an event. I would find them on Facebook, I'd find them on Twitter, on LinkedIn, follow them, send them a nice message. But that's not it. I'm never expecting people to get back to me. I don't take that for granted. I always make sure that I'm the first person getting back to them. And that's exactly what happened today. Last week, I attended an event and I met this amazing lady who I think I should collaborate with for one of the videos on YouTube. And it's been about 4 or 5 days. I didn't get her number, unfortunately, but she had my number. So I was waiting for her to get back to me. But while I was waiting, I happened to actually go to her website, subscribe to her newsletter. I checked her profile on LinkedIn. I found out what her business is about. I read as much as I could. And 5 days later, earlier this morning, she actually sent me a message on my WhatsApp saying, let's meet up. The only way you get real value from an event or any networking activity is if you actually continue to network with the same person. You're not going to get your sales, you're not going to get your customers just after one single meeting at an event. In fact, understand that the people who meet you have met hundreds of others at the same event. How do you stand out? By following up, by constantly being in touch with them in one way or the other. Not just bothering them over a text message or phone or trying to give them a call all the time, but being actively out there. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like some of the posts they post on Facebook. If you're on LinkedIn, connect there. Maybe on Twitter, reply back to whatever they're posting, like their stuff. People love that. So try to be in touch with them, try to add value to them as much as possible. So these are my 5 tips. Tip number 1, offer help to others when you're at events. Don't be selfish, don't be greedy. You don't want people to remember you because of that. My second tip is to prepare before you go to an event. Make sure you know what the event is about, what are the topics that are going to be focused on. Also, make sure that you know who are the kind of people that are coming. Do your research, read as much as possible, get as much knowledge as possible so you can add value to others. Tip number 3, don't be a sales guy. Don't try to go there and sell stuff all the time. People don't like to remember. People don't like to get in touch with people who are always pitching them. Number 4, listen more than you talk, so that you're able to process more information and come up with better things to say. And finally, follow up. Stay connected with the people you meet at events. Week after week, you never know. Sometimes a sales process, selling something to somebody you met at an event could take months, sometimes years. Make sure you're connected with them throughout that period in one way or the other, on different social media platforms, through emails, through text messages, or through other events where you meet them for the second or the third time. Follow up as much as possible. Try to stay connected with the people you meet as much as possible. So these are my 5 tips. I hope they're going to help you. If you have any other tip in mind, please do comment below. I'd love to reply back. Like this video, share this video. I'll see you until next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
No, they notice me flexing, fit in all of my fitness.